Shalom, shalom, shalom. This is your Akazaki Yahoo, and I start this broadcast as I would start any broadcast by first of all giving all praise, honor, and great esteem unto the Most High Power of Yahuwah, Bahashem Yahushua Hamashiach, and to the 12 tribes of Israel who are scattered to the four quarters of the earth. I say shalom wa baruchim, that is peace and blessings. And I cannot wait to the day that the Most High brings us back together, and we are once again 12 tribes, one family, one nation, under the Most High power, under one covenant. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Joined this evening by my most esteemed Kenaniah. Shalom, Maki.
Hey, shalom, shalom, Maki. Shalom, shalom, Yasharal. Happy day of, well, no, we would call it a holiday of Nikkor.
Khan. Yeah, they in the core,
Uh,
Khan. Yeah, we wanted to get into that one, but I'm gonna have to do some more studying on that before we can get into that one. But
God, that makes sense.
yeah, yeah. So we're gonna go ahead. Tomorrow we'll begin uh, Purim. And so
Uh-huh.
we're going to go ahead and get into the beginnings of Purim, where we have the book of Esther, and then we'll finish the other half tomorrow. So let's go ahead and get right into that. And yeah, Nicanor and Nicanor, I believe it's called, and Purim run back to back tonight and then tomorrow night. So um, it's the book of Esther. We'll begin here and we'll read the first 8 chapters. There's 16 chapters total. So we'll read the first 8 and then we'll finish up the other 8 tomorrow for the Sabbath. So uh, this is the banquet of the king, the book of Esther, chapter 1 and verse 1. It says, Now it came to pass in the days of, I think this is one of the kings of another nation. So I have to see what his name
Mm-hmm.
is before we get into it. Uh, This is the same person's name which reigned from India to Ethiopia over 172 provinces. Let's take a look at his name real quick. I don't want to be saying somebody's name and it's okay. I will be silent or poor. Doesn't sound like a name of an idol or anything connected to an idol, but looks like we
God.
saw that in Daniel. Let me just take a
Uh,
quick look here.
I want to say that was the king that had taken over after, might have been the second king of the Persian Empire.
Okay,
Oh, I guess
yes,
he would have been the first. Yeah.
Medes, yeah, Singer the Medes, yeah, first year Darius. Okay, kind. So, I didn't get how to pronounce this. Uh,
Ah-
Akash
Varash.
Varash.
Akash Varash.
Akash Varash. Okay,
Akash Varash.
Akash Varash. All right, I'll try to get that one next time. Next, verse 2. That in those days that King Ahasuerus sat on the throne of his kingdom, which was in Shushan,
Mm-hmm.
the palace. On the third year of his reign, he made a feast unto all the princes and his servants, the power of Persia and Media. The nobles and princes of the province began before him, being before him. Verse 4, which he showed the riches and glory kingdom, the riches of his glorious kingdom, and the honor of his excellency, um, ma- uh, mm, majesty,
Uh,
majestic,
Majesty.
majesty, Slakia, I'm tripping. Majesty, many days, even 180 days. And when those days were expired, the king made a feast unto all the people that were present in Shushan, the palace, both unto great and small, 7 days in the court of the garden of the king's palace. Uh, when were white, green, and blue hangings fastened with cords of fine linen and purple and silver rings, and pillars of marble, and beds were of gold and silver upon the pavement of red and blue and white and black marble. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds pretty extravagant. Verse
Mm-hmm.
7. And they gave them drinks in vessels of gold, vessels being derived from others, one from another, and raw wine in abundance according to the state of the king.
So, oh, Salaki,
Oh, go ahead.
I just wanted to, I was thinking about, the splendor that we're
Uh,
hearing about with this kingdom.
hmm
And, what I couldn't help but to think about was, this kingdom has pretty much come up off the back of the Babylonians and
hmm
like their richness. And
Right.
what we have to also remember is that these Babylonians stole the riches of our
Israel.
ancestors'
hmm
kingdom, So
Yeah,
it's like again, these nations are prospering off of Israel.
Kerr, absolutely, absolutely. We talked about before that all the riches that Abraham had passed to Isaac, passed to Jacob, and then how he was, had to work for 7 years to procure his wife, had to work double 7 years to procure his wife's because of the evil that had besought him and fallen on him. And it was just like like we should have wealth from that from Abraham, but we've been stripped of everything that we've ever had, and now we, you know, in the position we in at this moment. So it's crazy you think about it. I mean, truthfully. Verse 8, and the drinks were according to the law. None did compel, and the king had appointed Slakia, and the king had appointed to all the officers of the house that they should do according to every man's pleasure. Also, uh, Vista, the queen, made a feast for the women in the royal house, which belonged to King Artaxerxes.
Oxararus.
Oxarara, Salaki. I said
Mm-hmm.
Artie. Well, I just made up a name. Let's check out Vista. Uh, uh, yeah, Visti. This was the queen before. Her name means beautiful. This was before the Israelite woman took over, I believe. But let's continue here. Verse 10. Queen Visti's refusal. Yeah, so this is a very interesting story. So I'm pretty sure
Mm-hmm.
people will be into it if you listen to it. Verse 10. On the seventh day, when the heart of the king was merry with wine, he commanded. Uh, Careful with these names. So this people we'll skip these and look and see who they are before I go into that. The seven chamberlains that served in the presence of uh,
Oxararus.
Axararas, the king. Salaki. I'm gonna get that out.
Man, I'm not sure if I'm saying it right now anymore than how we said it the first time. I'm
Right. We'll have to look at it again.
right.
Uh, so this cat, okay, his name means faithful. One of the seven eunuchs of the king Arthurus. We'll see that. His name is Mihuman.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much easier when they break it down. And then this cat's name is that.
Vista.
Look at his name. What kind of craziness is that? I don't think I should say that either.
Right, right.
It's not something I'm trying to promote. Kind of name you got? Oh my goodness. So I hope this means donkey driver. I don't know. These guys could have been into some crazy stuff. I'm not saying that either. Uh, let's see what this. Look, he got H5. How
A
you get
bag,
H5?
a bag tha,
Oh look,
abeta. Hmm.
yeah,
Okay, what deity is he talking
you're
about
right.
though?
Exactly, exactly. That's why I said he don't know about these because this is another nation here. Star like I think all of these probably some dealing with some crazy stuff here. Look, Google think I need some translation help. Like, nah.
Right.
Serve.
Severe.
Severe. So I meant to say severe. I don't know how I did that. Okay, kind. Let's look at his name one more time because I done forgot it too.
Akash ba Rosh.
Varas,
Akash.
Asparas,
Mm-hmm.
Varas,
Akash.
Asparas. Seems simple enough, but yeah, it looks so different when you look at it right here. You know, it doesn't look like that at all. Asparas. All right, verse 11. To bring Vista, the queen, before the king with the crown royal. With the yeah, with the crown royal, not the royal crown, the crown royal.
Right, right.
It looks like it should be the royal crown, to show the people and the princess her beauty, for as she was fair to look on. But Queen uh, Vista, Vista refused to come to the king's command by his chamber, by his chamberlains. Therefore was the king very wroth and angry, and anger burned in him. Now, why would she refuse her husband to come? And since he trying to show her off, like, yeah, come check out my wife, check out the queen, and tell her to come. And she was like, no, I'm not coming. I'm doing something else. I'm not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but that's not your position. You supposed to. Your husband say come. You supposed to come. Like, you know, this not even our people. This is the beginning of the going off of our people. That look like probably not, but verse 13. And the king said to the wise men which knew the times, for so was the king's manner towards all that knew law and judgment. And the next, uh, and the next unto him was, well, so I'm gonna skip these names again. Seven princes of the Medo and Persians, which saw the king's face, which sat first in the kingdom. Let's look at these real quick. Yeah, just for people who don't know, I'm careful with names, especially foreign names in the
Mm-hmm.
script, because they can definitely go directly to an idol, and it's commanded us not to speak the name of idols. So
Gone.
yeah, that's why we cautious with that. That first one looked like it was all right. I think I skipped one.
I think two of them.
Okay, yellow jasper. Okay, yeah, because yeah, I did skip two. Salaki. Go back. A star. Yeah, we've seen his name before, and then testimony to them. Hmm. Yeah, I don't trust that. Like
Right, right.
lofty. Uh, worthy. Worthy of what? And then designful.
Dignified.
Dignified. Salakia. I'll be butchering words, honestly, but let's continue. Verse 15. What shall you do unto Queen Vishnu according to the law? Because she have not performed the commandment of the king uh, by the chamberlains.
Right.
Yeah, we'll come back. Uh, and that gentleman answered before the king and the princess, Vishnu, the queen, had not done wrong to the king only, but also to the princes and the people that are in the province of the king Ak, uh,
Ash.
As, Ak
Akash Barash.
Barash, Ak Asbarash, Ak Asbarash. All right, I'm gonna get that one next time. Ak Asbarash. Verse 17. So they talking about what the situation, like he went into the law. Like, look here, what can I legally do to this woman for her treachery
Mm-hmm.
here? Because that's how hurt he was about it. Is that like she refused to come when he called her. You know, he like what? Which is crazy. Verse 17. For this deed of the queen shall come abroad unto all women, so that they shall despise their husbands in their eyes, when it shall be reported. And King Ahasuerus commanded Vishnu, the queen, to be brought in before him, but she came not. So something that you seem is so simple, like this
Mm-hmm.
is a big deal. This is like a big deal. especially since he's the king of this area. This is not only the king of this area. This is the world power king. This
Right,
is
right.
this is equivalent to the president of the prime min of the prime minister, the president of the United States, asking his wife to come over here, and his wife saying, "No, not doing that." You know what I'm saying? So, and I probably the president of the United States would probably be a worse example. Let's say the president, not the president, the king of the person who's the king of Saudi Arabia, and
Right.
he asked his wife to come over, and she refused. You think what you think gonna happen when she get home? She getting
It's not
beheaded.
gonna go well. Yeah, it's
She
not
getting
gonna go
beheaded,
well.
and he gonna go to one of his other wives. Like, don't you ever be like this one, because you
Right.
gonna end up headless like her. Verse 18. Likewise shall the ladies of Persia and Medes say this day unto the king's princes, which have heard of the deed of the queen. Thus shall there arise much contempt and wrath. So again, this is a big deal. This is not a little lightweight refusal to follow a simple command or request, or however you want to view it. Verse 19. If it please the king, let there go a royal commandment from him, and let it be written among the law of the Persians and the Medes, that it be not altered, that Vishna come no more before King Ahasuerus, and let the king give her royal estate to another that is better than she. So they want to take everything away from her that her husband has given her. So basically, it's a divorce is where he's getting into. Verse 20. And when the king's decree, which he shall make, shall be published throughout all the empire, for it is great, all the wives shall give to their husbands honor, both the great and small. So he's saying basically what they're saying is this is going to set a precedence.
Mm-hmm.
So like this is like if you're familiar with case law, that's basically what he's pointing to here. Like this is going to be case law going forward, and if we don't nip this in the bud, then these women are going to become unruly. And somebody didn't get this memo because right now we at a time where women are completely unruly.
Indeed.
All right, God. Verse 21. And the saying pleased the king and the princes, and the king did according to the words of this advisor. Verse 22. For he sent letters unto the king's providence, unto every providence according to the writings thereof, and every people after their language, and every man should bear rule in his own house, and that it should be published according to the language of every people. So again, reiterating this yet again, this is not a lightweight thing. This is a big deal. So much that this woman is now she's cut off, and everything that she had is going to his new wife.
Okay.
Right. So let's get into that. Verse 2, chapter 2. Visna's successor sought. So now he's looking for somebody to replace this woman who was so nice to look upon because she wanted to be a hard butt. Verse 1, chapter 2 and verse 1. After these things, when the wrath of King uh, Akash, forgot his name,
Ashvarash.
Asperas, Toda, was appears, he remembered Vishna and what she did and what she had done, and what the decree and what was decreed against her.
Mm-hmm.
Then said the king's servants to the ministers, Slakia. Then said the king's servants that ministered unto him, let there be fair young virgin, let there be fair young virgins sought for the king, and let the
You know,
king. Oh, go
Oh,
ahead.
Salakia.
No, go ahead.
Just thinking about this situation.
Mm-hmm.
This queen
Mm-hmm.
was rebellious.
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna pay for it, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But it's like the Most High is orchestrating
Mm-hmm.
these events
Right.
to save his people.
To put us in the position. That's
Uh-huh.
ultimately what we're dealing with here. But
Yeah,
it's so intricate because it makes perfect sense that the king would deal with his wife like this because she refused. You don't. Okay, it's one thing. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't want to say it's one thing if you got a regular husband because that's not the case. You should. A woman is meant to honor her husband. A
hmm,
husband is meant to respect and protect his wife.
right,
And you know, I hate to jump on my soapbox here, but uh, we're in a society at today's time where that is not going to be the case. That is not the situation, and especially in our community. And as a result, we have single mothers raising children. We have men taking passports and going to other countries to seek
right.
women for the sake of finding a woman that they can actually be with. Because these women here are completely and utterly problematic. And yeah, so like I said, too bad somebody didn't read this before they started destroying our community. Because if they'd have understood this, they'd have understood that this is not going to be good for anybody. Verse 2. Then the king's servant, oh, it's like verse 3 actually, uh, and let the king appointed, and let the king appoint officers in all provinces of his kingdom, that they may gather all the fair young virgins unto Shushan, a place, it's like the place, the palace, to the house of the women, it's like unto the custody of the king's chamberlain, uh, keeper of women, keeper of the women, and let Salaki, I know how I'm getting all this inside problems here, and let their things be purification, uh, be given them. Their things for purification be given them. So basically, he's saying, get all the women together so the king can take his pick. Uh, basically, he's putting a person over that. Sorry, I butchered that so bad. Verse 4, and let the maidens which please the king be queen instead of Vishnu. And the thing pleased the king, and he did so. He's like, all right, let's do that. Let's make it happen. Why would he
Hmm.
turn that down? No reason. All right, check this out. This is where it gets interesting. Verse 5. Now in Shushan, the palace, there were a certain Yahudim whose name was Mordecai, the son of Uriah, yeah, Yar, the son of uh, Shemi, the
Hmm.
son of Kish,
You know who that is.
a Benjamite. My mind is it's evading me. What was
You remember that the Benjamite that was following Dawid and calling him a bloody man.
Oh, got you, got you. Oh, Shimmy. Oh, yeah, yeah. Con. Okay, yeah. The one he ended up doing what he was ordered not to do, and he ended up getting himself killed.
Indeed, and he wasn't supposed to leave that refuge place, and he left.
Right, and he left and ended up getting himself killed. Was it
Hmm.
Benaiah that killed him?
I
I'm trying to
believe
remember.
so.
I
Yep,
believe so too. Yeah, I
yep,
didn't think about that. Con. Okay. Wow. Son of Shimmy. So
so
Benjamin.
this was Mordecai's grandfather, I believe. Isn't it
Wow.
grandfather?
Yeah. Mordecai, son of Yari, son of Shimi, son of
Yep,
Kish the Benjamite. Yes, indeed. Wow, that's something else there. We went all the way back to Kings
yep.
for that one. So, all right.
Samuel.
Right. Some, yeah.
Yep.
Well, yeah, okay.
Oh, you right. No, you're right. Yeah.
Because that
He
was
did
before the
it.
time of Solomon when he got killed.
Yeah,
Of
when he
course,
got killed, it was Solomon, but I
he
think it
cursed
was,
David.
yeah, indeed.
Like, who is this cursing the king? Because they was gonna kill him
Right,
then, and if he'd have gave him the
right.
permission, and he was like, "Nah, nah, not today. Nobody's gonna die to get put to death today." David had that compassion for him, and you know, told him on
It
his
just
deathbed, "Hey, so
it
he's
tripped
like,
me out how long these people must have been living though.
right, exactly, yeah, because we, all the way into the captivity, and generations later, so you get put to death, your children go forward, and yeah, this Mordecai's father. So Mordecai's a Benjamite.
Indeed.
Yeah, I didn't realize that from reading this. So let's continue. Verse 6.
And I guess we
Oh,
can say
go
the
ahead.
same of Esther.
Cause were they
I
cousins?
be, I believe he is her brother's. I believe he is her uncle.
Mordecai was.
Yeah, I believe
Okay.
so.
Okay, we'll get to it. We'll definitely get to it. Verse 6 here says, "Who had been carried away from Jerusalem with the captivity, which had been carried away from King Slakia, away with uh, Ye- Yekaniah,
Uh,
Yekaniah,
Yekaniah.
Yekaniah, Salaki, Yekaniah, king of Yehuda, whom Nebuchadnezzar, the king oh shoot, I didn't mean to say that name. Who
Oh, Khan, yeah.
I didn't mean to
I
say
just
his.
remember. Yeah.
All right, Khan, I didn't mean to say that. Look, it looked right at me, and I was like, I always think about that ship on the Matrix when I see that name, and I wonder why they named it that. But the king of Babylon, he carried away. So they're like, yeah, this was one at this time. So let's continue. And he brought up Hadassah, that was Esther. So Hadassah was her real name, and that is
Hmm.
Esther, the uncle's daughter, his uncle's daughter.
So you're right. They were cousins.
Okay, his uncle's daughter.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
yep.
So
First cousins.
yeah, so Hadassah was Mordecai's uncle's daughter. So yeah, they definitely first cousins.
Hmm.
Uh, for sh- for she had neither father nor mother, and a maid was very fair and beautiful, whom Mordecai, whom Mordecai, whom when her father and mother were dead, took for his own daughter. So he was basically raising her, even though they were cousins. He was basically raising her because her parents
Hmm.
were gone on. So all right. So her name was Hadassah, and it was changed to Esther. So I want look. Let's matter of fact, let's take a look at this
Indeed.
at both of these names. Hadassah, Myrtle.
Hmm.
What does that mean? What does Myrtle mean?
I'm not sure.
I have to look that up too. Let's check out what this means. Star. Okay.
They got a few different names for store.
Oh, yeah. I clicked off of that quick.
Because we was looking at one of those princes' names, and his name meant star too.
Oh yeah, yeah. Con. Let me go back to her name. Let's look at this Myrtle. Flower. Oh, plant.
Hmm.
Huh. Interesting. Okay. Evergreen shrub belongs in the family. I wonder, is that the same Myrtle as this? Which is the Jewish virgin who was called. Yeah, they just talk about her. They don't talk about what the origin of the name is. Okay, all right, let's continue. So that's the only place it appears is right here in verse 7. As I don't know if you saw that when I was over there, but let's continue. Or verse 6, I should say.
Hmm.
All right, he was took off for his own daughter. So Esther finds favor. Uh, chapter number 2, book of Esther, chapter 2 and verse 8. So it came to pass when the king's commandments and his decree were heard, that many Slakia, and when many maidens were gathered together unto Shushan the palace, to the custody of that helper, that Esther was brought also unto the king's house, to the custody of that same helper, keeper of the women. And the maid pleased him, and she obtained kindness of him, and she speedily gave, and he speedily gave her things of purification for purification, with such as belonged to her, and 7 maidens, which made meeting, Slakia, which were meant to be given her out of the king's house. And he preferred her and her maids unto the best place of the house of the women. So yeah, she definitely got favor for him just from the way that she looked, and probably
Mm-hmm.
the way that she spoke. She probably was very feminine, and was, ultrally feminine. Verse 10. I don't know why they changed her name, but uh, Esther had not shown her people. Esther had not shown her people nor her kindred, for Mordecai had charged her that she should not show it. So he didn't want to tell her who she was with,
Mm-hmm.
what stock she came from. And Mordecai walked every day before the court of the women's house to know how Esther did, and what should become of her.
Oh,
Yeah,
man, check this out.
was that?
So this kingdom
Uh huh.
has many provinces
Right.
from India to Ethiopia.
Hmm.
This woman they're not able to dictate or tell what people this woman is.
Right. Yeah.
To me, this is clearly black people.
Black people. Absolutely. Absolutely. Even the Medo and Persians. I mean, so you can't tell the Hebrews from the Ethiopians, from the Indians, from none of them. Uh,
Man, this is man, it's clear, man. All we have to do is just read and
just
you know,
read it.
yeah.
Connect the dots. Yeah. 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 That's a good point because I didn't even, it was right there, and I didn't even make mention of that because, yeah, I mean, in this region of the world, everybody was black. Wasn't no
Man, man,
Ashkenazis. Yeah, wasn't no
right. The
Ashkenazi.
Indians, some of them my complexion.
Right, exactly, exactly. Yeah, wasn't no Ashkenazi Jews. And then he looking and she got to tell, well, yeah, I'm actually a Hebrew. No.
Right.
If the Hebrews look like the Ashkenazis today, wouldn't you'd have known who it was.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Or even if they were a people of lighter let's just say pale skin,
Right, right.
if they
Yeah,
wouldn't have been able to, because then they would have thought that she was either Greek or you know what I mean, that they would have
exactly.
been associated with Greeks, but we don't read that in the scripture. People
Hmm.
confuse them for Mizrahites,
Right,
or
exactly.
even Cushites, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah. That was a good point. I really that one went right. I mean, it was right there, but I didn't put it out. I really didn't. That's a good pull. So all praises. Verse 12. Now, when every maid turn was come to go in to the king, Artie, I don't know where I'm getting Artie from. Uh,
Varash.
Asperaz. I don't know. I'm not getting that from this.
Well, and you know what? I probably need to stop saying Varash because we know that that V is something that's new.
Uh,
Uh, it would be Ash, Uash,
right.
Ooh.
Right.
Hmm.
Oh, okay. So it's so okay.
They're using a V right there, like in the breakdown. But we know that that breakdown they use is off.
Ah, gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. I got you, Ross. Okay, kind. All right. Um, yeah. So let me read verse 12 again. It says, "Now when the maid's turn was coming to go into the king Ahasuerus, after he had been 12 months, according to the manner of women, for so were the days of the purification accomplished, to which 6 months with oil of mirth, and 6 months of sweet odors, uh, and with other things for purification of women." So they did a purification of 6 months of sweet odors and 6 months of oil and mirth, which we did. Ours was different because in our Torah it gives us 30 days, because after 30 days she should have her menstrual within that time frame, and that way she's not some man's wife or she pregnant with some man's baby. Uh, but you have to shave her head and peel her nails, and yeah, so her hair had to grow back, and then of course, her nails will grow back. But yeah, you give him 30 days, but he said 6 months, a whole 12 months. Like, wow.
Hmm.
Verse 13. Then thus came every maid unto the king, whatsoever she desired was given her to go with her out of the house of the women unto the king's house. In every Slacky in the evening she went, and on the morrow she returned unto the second house of the women, to the custody of a person's name I'm not going to say, the king's chamberlain, which kept the concubines. She came in unto the king no more, except the king delighted in her, that she was called by name. Verse 15. Now, when the turn of Esther, the daughter of uh, Abihail, the uncle of Mordecai, who had taken her for his daughter, was come to go in unto the king,
Love you back.
she required nothing but what he gave the king's chamberlain. Oh shoot, I didn't mean to say his name. The keeper of the women appointed, and Esther obtained favor in the sight of all them that looked upon her. So the Most High got it where she's getting favor from everybody who's looking at her. So everybody's looking at her like this woman is amazing.
Indeed.
That's where our women are meant to be. Instead, our women are on some straight foolishness.
But
Some
I will say this to compliment, continue complimenting our sisters.
mhm,
You remember Bin Laden had a
mhm.
thing for Whitney Houston.
Oh, did he? I didn't remember
Yes,
that.
sir. Yes, sir.
I didn't
Uh,
remember
even today, there are, if you were to go over to Saudi Arabia and to Kuwait,
that.
to the what is that, United Emirates,
Mhm.
uh, you would
Okay,
find
that's all good.
a bunch of Nigerian women there,
Mhm.
and they're being used, almost like sex slaves,
Oh wow.
uh, but
Wow.
they find our women top tier of
Yeah.
our women.
Oh yeah. Our women are top tier. I mean, they are the top of all women in the department of beauty. When they haven't destroyed themselves with fake hair and unreasonable amounts of makeup. Trying to keep up with European women. Uh, yeah, our women definitely are top tier. The natural beauty of our women is unmatched. Nobody's come close to that. Reality. It's the problem I have, and I've skipped over to my Facebook. The problem I have is the attitude and the
The
uh,
foolishness,
demeanor.
you know.
Yeah, like this type of stuff here. This is where I just can't. This is just like, why would you do that? Like, why would? What kind of man would you be with that would have let you do that? I mean, that was just crazy, you know. And it's just a matter of clicking on Facebook, and you'll
Come.
see it's so abundant. I mean, you can't not see it. You know, you can't click on a video and it's some woman showing her posterior, showing her, you know, it's so common now. It's just ridiculous. But and they think, and I don't, and I'm saddened because they get negative attention, and it's like that's what they want. They don't want to be respected. They don't want to be uh, upheld as something spectacular. They want to be, just gawked at. You know, like be like this woman here. This woman was not that type of woman. It said all that she required was what was given her. Now, when the turn of Esther, the daughter of Abihail, the uncle of Mordecai, who had taken her for his daughter, was come to go into the king, she required nothing but what the person that was in charge of the women, the king's chamberlain, the keeper of the women, appointed. So only what he gave her. That's all she didn't say, I need anything else. I need some special hair. I need some eyelashes. I don't need she didn't need any of that stuff. All she required was what he gave her. That's what we reading here. Verse 16. So Esther was taken unto King uh, Arch as uh, U, Us-
Akash Uvash.
Uvash, Salaki Uvash,
Oh,
Todaki,
Uvash. Yeah.
Urash. Okay, Khan. Unto his house royal in the 10th month, which is the month. I bet that's pagan too. Well, maybe that's I don't know. Maybe that's our month. Is Tibet one of ours?
Uh, I don't think so, but
I don't think either. I probably said that.
yeah,
Yeah,
cause
that's right.
well, I'm not. I could be wrong, cause like, but death always meant house. I thought so. I don't know how they would get house into this month. I don't know.
Okay. In the seventh year of his reign. So let's take a look at that word real quick. I bet that's their word as opposed to ours.
I was
Goodness.
so. Yeah.
Oh, okay, 10th month. Okay, so well, that's probably something that came from the Ashkenazis. Truthfully,
Uh-huh.
just got Jewish on there, but anyway, let's continue. All right. So you see her reward. She only showed up with what was required, and we see the headline: Esther becomes queen. So the Most High is favoring her, first of all, and
Uh-huh.
He's giving her favor in the sight of everybody. Everybody's seeing her as that. Verse 17. And the king loved Esther above all the women, and she obtained grace and favor in the sight more than all the virgins, so that he set a royal crown upon her head and made her queen instead of Esther. So this almost seemed like I hate to say it, a bachelor type of setup where you go in there and you prove yourself to the king, and he picked the one he jive with the best. And it almost seems like that. I've never watched that show, by the way, but I've heard about it, especially jokes being made about it.
Right.
Uh, but it seems like that. He put the crown on her head. So now this woman who decided to defy her husband is now completely cut off and has been replaced with an Israelite woman. Uh, you got to give all praise to the Most High on that one. I mean,
Indeed.
that is beautiful. I mean, honestly. Verse 18. She thought it would be nothing just to be like, nah, I'm not gonna do that, and end up losing everything behind that. So, verse 18. Then the king made a great feast unto all his princes and his servants, even Esther's feast, and he made a release to the province. and he made a release to the provinces and gave gifts according to the state of the king. And when the virgins were gathered together the second time, then Mordecai sat in the king's gate. Esther had not yet shown her kindred nor her people, as Mordecai had charged her, for Esther did the commandment of Mordecai, like as when she was brought up with him. So, of course, he's acting in the stead of her father, so she's definitely taking his counsel. And she did exactly what he said. So now she's been elevated to the position of the queen. Mordecai saves the king. So now he's about to get even a higher position. The book of Esther, chapter 20, Slakia, chapter 2, and verse 21. In those days, while Mordecai sat in the king's gate, two of the king's chamberlain, I'm not going to say those names, and those which kept the door were wroth and sought to lay hands on the king, uh, Ak-
Ash
Akash
Urash.
Urash. Akash Urash. Look, I got the Ak part because that's, that's Hebrew, but yeah, when it comes to the next, it's like it just evades me. Akash Urash. Verse 22. And the thing was known to Mordecai, who told it unto Esther the queen. And Esther certified the king thereof in Mordecai's name. And when inquisition was made of the matter, it was found out. Therefore, they were both hung on a tree, and it was written in a book of the chronicles before the king. So they found out. He the one told it. They found out, and they was able to handle it, and put them boys to death for they plot against the king.
Con.
Now we
Oh,
see a new person. Say it again.
oh, I was gonna say, we said we were going to 8.
Yeah, Con. I know we
Okay.
just at 3 now.
Yeah, no, we got 27 minutes till midnight.
Con. We'll cut it off where we we'll cut it off at
Well,
midnight. We'll
okay,
cut it
all
off.
right,
Yeah, we'll cut it off. So
come.
if we get to 6, then that's cool because I'm gonna read this one and then I'll read 4, and then if you read you know
Okay,
we'll finish it up tomorrow because we'll have more time tomorrow. So
indeed, indeed.
get us some rest tonight. So con. All right.
I mean, it's because it's a good read. It's a
Yeah,
good
yeah.
read. We're covering, and I can't help but to think about yourself and Miss Raheem.
Hmm.
Rising up like that,
Right.
something like
Right.
that. Likewise, we have brothers and sisters that have been in this captivity that have the Most High has watched over and
Right.
blessed.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, he's definitely he's shown us all. He's shown us favor. He's shown us favor
Hmm.
in these situations, where we've been even able to come back to the knowledge of who we are. That's a big deal. More
Come,
than being the queen or the judge of a particular area. To understand that was what was lost. So this is the book of Esther, chapter number 3, verse number 1. Uh, Haman's plot against the Yahudim.
hmm
So Haman is a new character here. We're going to get into him a little bit. Verse 1. It says, after this thing did King Akashurash
hmm
promote Haman, the son of Ham, oh, I probably shouldn't say that either. The Agagite, and advised him to set a seat above all the princes that were with him. So let's look at a couple of these things. His name, uh, Magnificent, Chief Minister Mordecai, the Yahudim plot to kill the Yahudim, forward by Esther, had hung. Yeah, so that gave us the whole history of it. I was trying to see what it told us about Haman, what his lineage was. He was an
Yeah.
Agagite over top. said to Haman the Agagite, or a descendant of Agagite. What does that mean to be a descendant of
You
Agagite?
know, here's what I remember, and I'm not exactly sure how accurate this is, but uh, this was a Greek, but also an what is it? A Amalekite.
Ah, oh, like
So Edom.
Edom, Khan, Amalekite. Okay, Khan. Yeah, he's not mentioned outside of this book. So, that's what I just looked at there. All right, verse 2. And all the king's servants that were in the king's gate bowed and reverenced Haman, for the king had so commanded concerning him. But Mordecai bowed not, nor did he reverence, nor nor did him reverence. Yeah, so Mordecai, like, we don't bow to our people. We bow to our power. It's like it. That's how we do things. Verse 3. Then the king's servants, which were in the king's gate, said to Mordecai, why transgress you the king's commandment? Now it came to pass, when they spake daily unto him, and he hearkened not unto them, that they told Haman to see what whether Mordecai's matter would stand. For he had told them that he was a Yahudim. So they telling him, oh, he's a Yahudim and he won't bow to you. That's because
Hmm.
again, we don't bow to men, we bow to our power.
That's
Verse
right.
5. And when Haman was Slaki, and when Haman saw that Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence, then he then was Haman full of wrath, and he thought scorn to lay hands on Mordecai alone, for they had shown him the people of Mordecai. Wherefore Haman sought to destroy all the Yahudim that were throughout the king of uh, Ahasuerus,
Hmm.
even the people of Mordecai. Who are the people of Mordecai? That's the Yahudim. Now I know this is not our month. I'm not saying that. Verse 7. For in the first month, in the first month, this is the month that's something evil. Our first month is Abib.
Hmm.
In the 12th year of King Ak uh, Akashurash, they they cast Pur. I probably shouldn't have said that either. That is a lot before Haman from day to day and from month to month to the 12th month to the 12th month.
Hmm.
That is the month Adar. Now Adar I'm familiar with,
Yeah.
but this this is not. If this is no, that's not.
Right.
That's false. Well,
Right.
that may be accurate. This part may be accurate, but that's not. No.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we would be in the month of Adar now.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. A bit. Well, it hadn't started yet because oh, you said the 12th month. The twelfth
Yeah,
month.
kind.
Yeah. So that's Adar. Salaki. Yeah, I said that wrong.
And
Uh,
then pure is where that Purim comes from.
right. Right. Yeah. Lot or peace. Not pieces in shalom, but pieces in portion. Uh, yeah. I was gonna look at that Adar. Yeah. Adar. Gorgeous. Glorious. Salaki. It's funny how I see one word and it's something else coming out of my mouth I don't even mean to say. Verse 8. That's ironic. And Haman said unto the king, man, they need to quit saying his name.
Hmm.
We're just going to leave that as the king. We know who it is. Uh, there's a certain people scattered abroad, look, and despised among the people in all the provinces of your kingdom. And their law is diverse from all people, neither keep they the king's law. Therefore, it is not for the king's profit to suffer them. If it please the king, let it be written that they may be destroyed, and I will pay 10,000 talents of silver to the hand of those that have the charge of the business, to bring it to the king's treasures. And the king took the ring from his hand and gave it to Haman, the son of. Oh, that might be a clue as to who this is, who Haman is. The Agagite, the Yahudim's enemy. They call him the Yahudim's enemy right there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what this word is. Double. Father of Haman. I'm just trying to see here. Perhaps. Okay. Trying to see if they give us anything else. Okay, kind of. They really didn't. So his name means double. His Mead Watha. Mead Watha.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay, let's continue. So now Haman is known as the enemy of the Yahudim. Verse 11. And the king said to Haman, the silver is given to you, the people also, to do with them as it seemed good to you. Then the king, Slakia, then were the king's scribes called on the 13th day of the first month, and there was written according to all that Haman had commanded unto the king's lieutenants and to the governors that were over the province, and to the rulers of every people's province according to the writings thereof, and to every people after their language. In the king, and the king written in the king, it's like in the name of the king was it written and sealed with the king's ring. And the letter was sent by post unto all the king's provinces to destroy, to kill, and to cause to perish all Yahudim, both young and old, little children and women, in one day, even unto the 13th day of the 12th month, which was the month Adar, to take the spoils of them for a prey. And a copy of the writing of the commandments was given in every province, was published unto all people, that they should be ready against that day. The post went out, being hasted by the king's commandment, and the decree was given in Shushan the palace. And the king and Haman sat down to drink, but the city of Shushan were perplexed. My goodness, this is getting interesting.
Indeed.
Con. All right, chapter 4. Esther learns of Haman's plot. Verse 1. Now Mordecai perceived all that was done. Mordecai rent his clothes. Slaki, I said that wrong. When Mordecai perceived all that was done, Mordecai rent his clothes and put on sackcloth with ashes and went out in the midst of the city and cried a loud and bitter cry and came even before the king's gate, for none might enter into the king's gate clothed with sackcloth. And in every province, whether so the king's commandment and his decree came, there was a great mourning among the Yahudim, and fasting, and weeping, and wailing, and many lay in sackcloth and ashes. That's our custom, when we putting ourselves In the worst situation, when we realize we're in a bad situation, we appeal to our power. We put ashes or dust on our heads, or we lay in it, and we put sackcloth on, the most uncomfortable thing you can put on your body, on your skin.
Indeed.
Uh, yeah. Verse 4. So Esther's maids and her chamberlain came and told it her, and the queen exceedingly grieved, as she sent uh, raiment to clothe Mordecai, and took away the sackcloth from him. But he received it not. Like, he appealing to his power, and she trying to get in contact with him so he can come in and talk to him. And he was like, "Nah, I gotta mourn because our people, they trying to destroy our people. We used to care about each other." Verse 5. Then called Esther for uh, Haddock, one of the king's chamberlain, I didn't mean to say his name, whom he had appointed to attend upon her, and gave him the commandment to Mordecai to know what it was and why it was. So that gentleman went forth to Mordecai unto the street of the city, which was before the king's gate. And Mordecai told him of all that had happened unto him, and the sum of the money that Haman had promised to pay the king's treasurer for the Yahudim, to destroy them. Also, he gave him a copy of the writing of the decree that was given to Shushan to destroy them, and showed it unto Esther, to declare it unto her, and to charge her that she should go to the king and make supplication unto him, and make request before him for her people.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we used to care about each other, and we
Mm-hmm.
should. We still should. Verse 9. And the same gentleman came and told Esther the words of Mordecai. Again, Esther spake unto that gentleman, and gave him the commandment unto Mordecai. All the king's servants and the people of the king's province do know that whosoever, whether man or woman, shall come unto the king, unto the inner court, whom is not called, there is one law of him, to put him to death. So the king got a law. You can't come into him to talk to him unless
Right.
he call you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's for anybody, man or woman. But watch this. Except such to him, the king shall hold Slakia. Look, I'm trying. Okay. Except such to whom the king shall hold out the golden scepter, that he may live. But I have not been called to come in unto the king these 30 days. So she hadn't even been given authorization to come in to the king. But if he hold out a scepter, that means, yeah, they can keep their life. Verse
Mm-hmm.
12. And they told Mordecai Esther's words. Then Mordecai commanded to answer Esther, think not with yourself that you should escape the king's house more than all the Yahudim. Like, you worried about yourself, but you about all of your people. They trying to kill all of us.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Verse 14. For if you altogether hold your peace at this time, then shall their enlargement be delivered arise. Slakia. Then enlargement and deliverance arise to the Yahudim from another place. But you and your father's house shall be destroyed, and know and who know rather, Slakia, I'll keep butchering this, and who knows rather you are come to the kingdom for such time as this. I butchered that bad,
Hmm.
but what he's saying is this is probably the reason why you even here in the first place.
Indeed, the Most
Yeah,
High is a grand architect. He's shuffling and moving positions, years ahead of what we can see, man.
exactly, exactly, exactly. All right. Esther's plan to intercede, verse 15. When Esther bade them return Mordecai his answer, then Esther bade them return Mordecai his answer. Go rather, Salakia, go gather together all the Yahudim and that are present in Shushan and hold Salakia and fast ye for me, neither eat nor drink 3 days, night or day. I also
Mhm.
and my maidens will fast likewise, and so will I go in unto the king, which is not according to the law. And if I perish, I perish. So now she's like, I'm gonna put myself on the line. So if this is what it is, and that's what it is. Verse 17. This is getting beautiful. So Mordecai went his way and did according to all that Esther commanded him. So uh, she's the she and Esther bade return to Mordecai, and Mordecai answered. Okay, so Mordecai answered. So Mordecai commanded the fast. I thought she had commanded it, but no. Mordecai saying, "Let's do this fast." And then uh, I also. Oh no, this is her. And she said,
Yeah,
"I
this is her.
also
This is her.
and my maidens."
Hmm.
Okay, con. See, when you read here, it says, "Then Esther bade them return Mordecai this answer." Okay, con. So I'm reading bad. I'm reading it incorrectly. So Mordecai sent the message to her. She's returning to him this answer. We're gonna set a fast, and I'm gonna go in to the king, and I'm gonna put my life on the line. So, all right. Actually, with it being like 8 minutes, we're gonna go ahead and we'll stop it here, and we'll pick up four, or we'll pick up. Oh, you want to go ahead and read five out?
Yeah, Kyle, let
Yeah.
me knock it out.
Okay, con. Let's go ahead.
All right, this is the book of Esther, chapter 5, verse 1. Esther plans a banquet. Now it came to pass on the third day that Esther put on her royal apparel and stood in the inner court of the king's house, over against the king's house. And the king sat upon his royal throne in the royal house, over against the gate of the house. And it was so, when the king saw Esther, the queen, standing in the court, that she obtained favor in his sight. And the king held out to Esther the golden scepter that was in his hand. So Esther drew near and touched the top of the scepter.
Mm,
Then said the king unto her, what wilt thou, Queen Esther, and what is thy request? It shall be given thee to the half of the kingdom.
mm,
And Esther answered, if it seem good unto the king, let the king and Haman come this day unto the banquet that I have prepared for him. Then the king said, cause Haman to make haste, that he may do as Esther hath said. So the king and Haman came to the banquet that Esther had prepared. And the king said unto Esther at the banquet of wine, what is thy petition? And it shall be granted thee. And what is thy request? Even to the half of the kingdom it shall be performed. That's no little reward. Half of the
right.
kingdom. This
Half the
this is
kingdom.
the this is the world power at the time.
Right. Absolutely.
Well, so verse 7. Then answered Esther and said, my petition and my request is, if I have found favor in the sight of the king, and if it please the king to grant my petition and to perform my request, let the king and Haman come to the banquet that I shall prepare for them, and I will do tomorrow as the king hath said. Haman's pride. Verse 9. Then went Haman forth that day joyful and with a glad heart. But when Haman saw Mordecai in the king's gate, that he stood not up, nor moved for him. He was full of indignation against Mordecai. I don't even know why that would even matter. It's something wrong in your heart. Like if
Right.
you've been risen to, you shouldn't even be worried about none of that, man.
One
But
fact.
this is his heart.
Hmm.
All right. Verse 10. Nevertheless, Haman refrained himself, and when he came home, he sent and called for his friends and Zeresh his wife. And Haman told them of the glory of his riches and the multitude of his children, and all the things wherein the king had promoted him, and how he had advanced him above the princes and servants of the king. Haman said, moreover, yea, Esther the queen did let no man come in with the king unto the banquet that she had prepared but myself. And tomorrow am I invited into her also with the king. So this man is puffed up with
Yeah,
with
and he don't
pride.
know. He don't realize that
Right.
she a Yahudim.
Indeed.
Hmm.
Indeed. Verse 13. Yet all this availeth me nothing, so long as I see Mordecai the Yahudim sitting at the king's gate. Then said Zeresh his wife, and all his friends unto him, let all gallows be made of 50 cubits high, and tomorrow speak thou unto the king that Mordecai may be hanged thereon. Then go thou and merrily with the king unto the banquet. And the thing pleased Haman, and he caused the gallows to be made.
Cause the gallows to be made. So
He
now
dug
he
his
done
own grave.
devised, right? He done devised a mechanism to call himself gonna hang Mordecai,
Hmm.
and don't even realize that he, yeah, putting himself in right in his own way. So all praises. We're gonna stop there at chapter number 5, and we'll pick up chapter 6 through 16 tomorrow.
God, a good day, good day to get it done.
All praises, yes indeed. Yeah, we'll get to it tomorrow, and maybe one of the other brothers will be able to join us. If not, it'll be all good. We'll make it do what it do. But
Indeed,
man, yeah, good. Man, it's been a while since I read this one, and it's good stuff. It's good stuff. I remember it vividly, but not the details. But yeah, it's good stuff. So let's go ahead to final thoughts so we can wrap it on up. Um, so thus far, what we see is even in our captivity, the Most High making provision for us, keeping us in a place where we can be preserved. Even
hmm
though He don't have us in our land, and relate that right here to today. The Most High making provision for us, putting us in a place where we can be preserved and we can have, we can be all right and not just cast off to the side. So all praises to the Most High, then and now. These things are written aforetime, are written for our learning. So we definitely learn from these situations.
indeed. You had mentioned something back in chapter 4 of how Esther understood that her actions were for her people, and
Hmm.
how our people once cared about each other. You know, even in this captivity, there was a point where we looked after one another. I can remember my my cousin, he's my cousin, but he was also like 90, 92 years old, cousin Lyles, one of the older patriarchs on my mother's side of the family.
Hmm.
And he was raised by him and my grandmother were raised like brother and sister, but
Hmm.
his parents had passed away. Similar to Esther's situation. His
Right,
parents had
right.
passed away, and her
Hmm.
parents took him in, and he was a cousin, but raised like a brother.
Hmm.
uh there was a point where we cared. I'm not sure what happened. Like it's been a gradual thing, and we continue. And I don't. It's not something that I like to focus on, because
Hmm.
I like to focus on what we do have, and
Hmm.
the positive relationships that we're currently building
Right.
with our brothers that are in this walk. As something to honor, something to rejoice in as well, because it's given from the Abba. Uh,
Absolutely.
but I guess collectively as a people, it's almost as if love is disappearing for one another, man. and
Yeah.
it's hurtful to see a lot of times.
It is. It is honestly, but it's, here's the reality: for us to get back, we got to get back.
Hmm.
We got to get back to where we looking out for one another, where we walking in righteousness, where we walking in the love of the Most High. Remember, the Messiah was asked, "What are the greatest commandments?" It's to love the
Hmm.
Most High with everything you have, and to love
Hmm.
your neighbor as yourself.
Come.
So we got to get back to where we love each other, where we deal with each other in righteousness, and none of this, no more of this folly. You know, uh, that's what it boils down to, because folly has destroyed us. It's destroyed our minds. It's destroyed our relationships. It's destroyed us. And
Hmm.
to get to the kingdom, you can't be destroyed. You're gonna have to be you're gonna have to have a mindset that you're gonna serve the most high.
That's right. Renewed.
Yeah.
I believe he
Yeah,
said, we're gonna be renewed.
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, all praises. We're gonna let it go there, and we'll pick it up tomorrow. We'll probably be on a bit earlier than normal, so we'll go ahead and get into it and get through these chapters, understanding what Purim is and um, how we got to it. So we got the backdrop. We're going to
Hmm.
close out with Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear the Most High and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. We must always remember in the conclusion of the entire matter, to fear the Most High and keep his commandments, because this is the entire duty of man. And it is most important that in the conclusion of it all, that we fear the Most High and keep his commandments. Why? Because this is the entire reason and responsibility of man. I am
Hmm.
Yaakazaki Yahu, joined by my most esteemed Maka Kenanaya. We give all praise, honor, and great esteem unto the Most High Power, Yahuwah Bahashem, Yahushua Hamashiach, and to the 12 tribes of Israel who are scattered to the four quarters of the earth. We say Shalom wa Baruchim, that is peace and blessings. And I cannot wait to the day that the Most High brings us back together and we are once again 12 tribes, one family, one nation, under the Most High power, under one covenant. Until that day, Shalom, family.
Hey, shalom, shalom, family.
All praises. Kwa halal